Welcome to Monday Movie Madness on Superhero Brodowns with
Zach
and Caden.
I know we haven't done a video in a while, guys, but we are coming back to you guys with another epic one. We just been a little busy with the holidays and whatnot, so hopefully you guys like this video. I think it's a very interesting one. As you guys read by the title, we're doing a video on...
on the most deserving comic book titles and storylines that need a movie or TV or something in the coming years.
Obviously, I think one thing we have to note about this list is that it isn't necessarily comic book storylines that are the most popular. We tried to pick some interesting ones. We tried to pick some ones that maybe you guys have heard about and just kind of spread some stuff that, like, some of our favorite comic book storylines. And if you guys have any different opinions, let us know down in the comments. And then before this video, make sure you guys all hit the subscribe button. We're almost at our first year of being on YouTube, and so that's a pretty big accomplishment. But we're
crazy.
But we're working our way to 100 subs, and we're also trying to get. We just surpassed 2,000 views pretty recently, and so
tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
We want to hit 100.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks so much. It's been a great year so far, and I can't wait for more years to come.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
let's get this top 5 list started. So yeah, Caden's gonna begin first of all.
Okay, so first off, the first comic book that I thought of when we always talk about this. We've talked about this before, just me and Zach, and every time we talk about it, I think of this one comic book storyline called Sticky Situations. Now, what it is between Spider-Man and Deadpool, and it's basically where Deadpool is trying to get a hit for someone, and this is how it starts off. Is he's trying to get a hit for someone at the Daily Bugle, and when they're around Peter Parker, it comes to that Deadpool basically just chucks Peter Parker away so he can get his hit. Only for Peter Parker to come back as Spider-Man, and leading to them to start fighting. Eventually has to come down to Cable to break it up, and, more things happen as more hits are called on from other people to keep going and keep going, for Spider-Man to keep protecting people from Deadpool, and Cable is kind of an overseer. So, it's a very funny dynamic between the two, like, during the whole first fight, even. And the way you see it, like, the way I'm I can't talk. I'm so sorry. It's been so long since we've done this. I can't roll off the tongue. Is that, the way that I'm putting it, it doesn't sound like you could stretch it out to some sort of film or something, but I think with a little bit of effort, and maybe a couple things here and there, because it's not to the T every movie is to comic book canon. I wish it was. I'm all about comic book canon. But,
no kidding.
Yeah. I think it should be, but, I mean, stretching it wouldn't be that bad, and even then, if they can't, that's why it's number 5 at the list. It's not what we want to see most, but, it would be great. And I think just because Spider-Man is getting so popular with Into the Spider-Verse recently, and his other movies, like, with,
Tom Holland.
Yeah. I forgot you, Tom Holland. I'm sorry. I forgot. Oh. He doesn't feel so good now. But with all of Spider-Man's popularity building onto Deadpool's, I think a crossover between the two would be really successful and really popular. So that's what I think. And we're sorry, but the way we ordered this, I am also saying the next one. So moving on to number 4. Number 4, we're moving to DC here for a bit. I'm going to be talking about one comic book storyline that went on for quite a bit called Blackest Night. And that is, I think that it's a pretty popular one. I think that people like it. It involves the creation of the Black Lantern, the Lantern of Death. So you know how there's Green Lantern, Willpower, Yellow Lantern, Fear. Black Lantern is the Lantern of Death, and he gets the Death's Ring. And he's, I believe, the only Black Lantern, is him. Him and him alone. He brings back dead superheroes such as Batman, Aquaman. One that I would love to see is if there is an Aquaman sequel, seeing if Aquaman dies this one, and he comes back for a sequel where he's the antagonist to the zombified Aquaman, that would be great. And he summons dead sharks and all that things. Oh, undead, brought back to life and whatnot. And all those fishy boys. I think that would be amazing to see your hero become the antagonist and have this spread across a bunch of different movies leading up to just one big final thing at the end involving the Green Lanterns and the Black Lantern, maybe getting Green Lantern a good movie.
Yeah.
you know.
Also, introducing the Green Lantern. This would be a great way to do it. Introduce the Blackest Night storyline.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're moving on to number 3, which is none other than the Captain America storyline. One of my favorite ones. Not a super popular one from what I know, but it was a storyline titled Castaway in Dimension Z by Richard Redner? I think
Richard Remender.
Remender, all right, and this is one of my favorite ones personally. So pretty much it starts out with Captain America. He's about to propose to Sharon Carter. Steve Rogers is, and then he gets on this train and he ends up going into Dimension Z. He's transported on this train. It's full of monsters and mutants and everything, and he gets transported to Dimension Z, which is run by Arnim Zola. And in this kind of universe, it's kind of like a desolate wasteland, this apocalyptic world, and he ends up having this Zola bot thing implanted in his chest. And this causes a lot of doubts throughout his character arc, throughout the whole storyline. And then right before he leaves this lab that he's stuck in at the beginning, he actually grabs a child that he thinks is being hurt, and he grabs this like test tube baby almost. He grabs it and he takes it out and he puts it in he takes it out in the wilderness trying to save it. And throughout the whole comic book storyline, he's kind of like questioning himself whether or not he should have took the kid, because the kid could have survived with in a prince royalty in a better version of this world, but instead he's out in the apocalyptic wastelands in the Badlands, and so that definitely causes a lot of like stress on the character of Captain America. And then also there's just a lot of flashbacks in the comic book as well, explaining stuff about Captain America's childhood, and it goes into him having a abusive father and him having to work for his mother to get money. So I think it was one of the most interesting Captain America comic books, kind of covering his character, and showed a lot of growth. It took place over a certain amount of years, so I think this would be very cinematic. I think it would look really cool, and we have not seen yet a superhero movie that takes place in a desolate wasteland style yet. Obviously, by Avengers 4, I assume that'll change a little bit, but I really want to see this kind of movie. Maybe not with the current MCU, because Captain America or Chris Evans is stepping down, but eventually I would love to see that movie.
And when we get John Cena as Captain America...
I hate that. Please no. Please no.
Great.
Please no. That would be so bad. But
Triple H.
Perfect. Let's put Drax. David Bautista.
David
Right.
Bautista.
So this next one, number 2 is called Forever Evil, correct? And
yes.
it was in 2013 as well. So both of these comic book storylines that I chose were from 2013. But this one covered kind of a thing similar to the Injustice League instead of just the Injustice game or anything like that. But it's kind of similar. So in this storyline, the superheroes, the Justice League, end up dying in the DC. And they end up having this, the crime syndicate from, I think, Earth 3, they come to Earth, and they try to take over. And they're this kind of villain group, obviously, if you guys don't know. And they're trying to take over the normal world, from what I know. And then all of a sudden, the Earth heroes from our Earth, they pretty much team together to form the Injustice League, right? Isn't that what they were called?
Yes.
Anyway, it was led by Lex Luthor, and I think this would be a great opportunity. Maybe not again in this universe, in the current DCEU, but okay.
I need something stupid.
But maybe later on, we can eventually have this kind of movie. I think it'd be great for villains. I think it might be better than Suicide Squad, hopefully. But I think it'd be a good opportunity to
Suicide Squad was perfect.
You're right! But I think it would be great to open up to different, like, multiverse ideas, and just to open this idea, because, that'd be amazing to open up for multiverses, and to open up for the crime syndicate, and just really define these villains really well, and have a Lex Luthor, and kind of putting him in the right light. Obviously, though, this would take a little bit of time to build, too, because I don't want them to rush into it, and that's the case for all these movies. I want them to take their time with all of them, but I think they can
mine was a bunch of movies.
Exactly. So, yeah, they should take their time with these movies. It shouldn't just be a one-off thing in 2020 or something. We're just saying, in the future, they should make these movies eventually.
Yeah, I think that all these storylines, they should... Basically what we're saying is they should have their own, like, something, some sort of series, some sort of, movie, and that would be great. Also, I forgot about Sticky Situations. We do know the authors for that one, Fabian Nicienza and Patrick Zurcher, so I forgot to bring them up.
And this one was written by Geoff Johns, I think, by the way, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, number 1. This is going to be one of the most interesting comic book storylines. One of my favorite comic book storylines. It is known as...
The Amalgam Comics.
Okay, so a lot of you might not have heard of this storyline, but it was pretty popular in the 90s.
Yeah, it was huge back then.
Huge deal.
It involved other people, like, that weren't part of the comic book making process.
Exactly. So what happened is, in this universe, this would be one of the coolest movies ever, I think. It is where DC and Marvel create an amalgam, and it was actually a new company, from what I know, and called Amalgam Comic Books. And in the beginning of it, there's these two people, they're kind of celestials,
they're gods kind of type thing,
and they're called the brothers.
The brothers.
The brothers, and they are these things, and they're going to fight. And both of them kind of represent each universe.
Yeah, one is Marvel and one is DC, pretty much. They're the embodiments of each of those worlds.
So yeah, and then they end up fighting, and to kind of choose who. And so because they're fighting, the heroes end up having to pretty much fight as well for who's going to survive, because whoever loses isn't going to survive anymore. And at the very end of it, after Marvel and DC battle it out, the viewers of the comic books actually got a vote on who won, and ended up creating an amalgam universe where the characters became one.
Yeah, there was, I believe there was Wolverine, Batman.
Yeah, Dark Claw.
That was great. Dark Claw. There was Robin, Spider-Man, which was bad.
Yeah,
but,
I think it was Spider-Boy was his name.
Yeah,
Iron Lantern.
Iron Lantern. There was Captain America, Superman, Super Soldier.
And that was personally, I really like that one. I like that comic book.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was left to viewer vote of who would win, and it came down to Marvel won 3 out of 5. So.
Yeah, so I'm not even saying necessarily, obviously in a movie you're not going to be able to do the vote kind of thing, but I think this movie, for sure, could be one of those movies that finally we can see DC and Marvel come together, because although they do compete, and a lot of the people are like, oh, Marvel's so much better than DC, or DC so much better than Marvel, I think in reality they're both comic book storylines, and they're storylines that all of us love, I think.
And they both want the same thing, as for entertainment for the people. So imagine this giant fan service movie of just multiple people clashing, both teams having to come together to protect their worlds and defend each other. And we can get more fights in than just the other 5 that we saw. Like, imagine seeing a bunch of different, ones. I would love, personally, because this was a thing, I don't remember when or where exactly it took place, but there was a comic book storyline that involved another Marvel DC kind of creation thing, and it had Carnage and Joker team up.
That's sick.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever, and I would love to see that on a screen. Just see, because they're both existent, so I would love to see them in this movie.
Yeah, of course. I think all of these movies would be phenomenal, and especially now that Marvel's getting back a lot of their properties from Fox and stuff, and Sony and whatnot. I think this movie could be very possible in the future, especially if the Marvel and Disney ends up working with Warner Bros. And creates a quality, really good fan service movie, as you said. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any different opinions, let us know down in the comic books. I'm sure you guys do. Or if you guys agree with us, let us know. Make sure you guys also hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell.
Get us to 100. And also, if you thought, hey, that's wrong, they should know that it's wrong, please politely tell us in the comments of what we had wrong and, all that stuff, because we would love to get more knowledge of superheroes, provide better content for you all.
Of course. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the great first year and whatnot. Almost the first year. Check back on Friday for another good video, I hope. And,
remember, we keep a schedule of we're trying to keep a schedule of solely Fantasy League fights, but obviously that's not going very well. Editor. Of Fantasy League fights, so catch up on those Monday and Friday. We'll see you next time, nerd folk.
Goodbye.